everyone! This is a Star to Steer Her By, some kind of Star Trek podcast.
Woo!
We are on episode 152.
Woohoo!
Our 152 Spectacular.
I was gonna say that. Woo!
As usual, I am Ames.
As you have come to expect, I am Caitlin.
And featuring the Jake Dancers.
And
That would be like the last thing. What the fuck am I? Chopped liver?
And Frog.
And
Oh, and a special
and
appearance.
Frog! Did you hear Ames? She nailed it.
That is class. Yeah, special appearance by Chris. I am the Dr. Smith of this episode. William.
They always put the biggest star last because it's like a surprise.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember that.
Like, except on Stargate, where, you know, for some reason Richard Dean Anderson's name appears before the title of the show.
Yeah, I'm sure that was written into his contract.
Yeah.
What did they do when he was no longer on the show?
It went back to normal, and it was no order.
No, he was still listed because they knew people were coming specifically because who was he? MacGyver? That's the one he is?
Yeah, but he wasn't
Sounds
main cast after season 7.
Yeah, but still the name.
That's true.
Anyway, that's not what we're talking about this week. But this week we are talking about DS9 episodes,
Woo!
Battle Lines,
Oh.
and Storyteller. And the Storyteller. Alright, Battle Lines. Let me try to bang through this quickly.
Down in battle line.
See, that's why it takes so long, Jake.
Sorry.
Kai Opaka is back. She comes and hangs out with us. Kira is so excited! And Kai Opaka says, you know what I want to see? That wormhole. And they're like, alright, sure, let's go for a road trip into the wormhole. Why the fuck not?
Oh, you really don't get out much, huh, bitch?
She doesn't.
When the Space Pope says, I want to see the wormhole.
Yeah, you can bring her to the wormhole.
Space Pope.
And they're like, oh, there's some kind of a what's-it in here. She's like, yeah, let's check out this what's-it. I don't get out much. I'm Space Pope. So they go check out this what's-it, and oh no, satellites shoot them down, and oh no, they're, not shuttlecraft, what are they called? Roundabouts?
Runabouts.
Their roundabout crashes into the surface, and oh no! We've accidentally killed Kai Opaka!
Fuck.
What's even worse is these people, the Ennis, come running out and they're like, we're in the middle of a fucking war. This is a bad thing because the Null Ennis, the people who we've been in a war with, could show up and shoot us at any moment. And at that very moment, the Null Ennis come out and there's this giant battle and lots of people die. What is happening in this fucking episode?
You're gonna find out.
So a whole bunch of people die. Cisco and Kira and Bajor, who stowed along because, he wanted look at some women or something.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Oh, they're all there like, man, everything's going bad today for us, isn't it? Oh, look, someone's coming in the cave.
It's a no good, very bad day.
It's Zombie Kai Opaka! What is this episode?
Zombie Space Pope.
So she walks in and they're like, this is new. Hey, Bajor, luckily you're here, even though really you had no other good reason to be. Can you medical scan her and be like, what, and figure out what the fuck's going on? He's like, oh yeah, there's all these like new little microorganisms or some bullshit or...
Mitochondria?
Some...
Midichlorians, that's what I meant. That was the joke I was trying to make.
But the joke is that I always confuse them and call them
Oh, so it's your fault.
mitochondria,
So
too.
it's your fault,
Yeah.
but I meant midichlorians.
Yeah, so
Those are the force lives.
the midichlorians have brought Kai Opaka back to life, and whoop, all the Ennis and the Null Ennis, who also recently just died in front of us, also come back to life, and they're like, yeah, that's a thing that happens sometimes. It's kind of our fate now, because we're actually, a whole bunch of people from a race that were constantly at war, and the people got pissed off about how much war we were always doing, so they basically wrecked us here on this planet, where we're stowed forever, just in a state of never dying, but always being at war, and we've never figured out another thing to do than war. Shrug, this is life now.
Yeah, you would think you'd give up on the war thing once, people didn't stay dead. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. I have many notes about that.
Fantastic.
It's like, what? Good God. So, we're talking with this guy, Golan Shella, the leader of the Ennis, and trying to get him to talk with Zlanko, best name, the leader of the Knoll Ennis, to be like, hey, how about you guys do some kind of a peace thing? Because that'd be really, really great, because you're stuck here forever anyway. And they're like, nope, we're going to do more killing. Kill.
What? More war? Sounds great, bud.
And Bashir realizes, Cisco, we might want to move out of the way, because even though you come back to life from the death on this planet, I learned a bad thing about that, and that's that if you're killed on this planet, you stay on this planet forever. Which means now that even though the Kaiopaka is actually, back from the dead, which is nice, that we didn't accidentally kill the Bajoran spiritual leader.
Oh no, they did. They did accidentally kill her. They did it.
But it means she cannot leave this planet fucking ever.
Ooh.
And for a second they're like, what if we come up with something? And they're like, yes, if you come up with a way that we can leave, then we can really kill each other. And they're like, oh, no, you guys aren't seeing the point. You
guys fucking suck at this.
Yeah, in fact, Jadzia and O'Brien are here because they had a side plot that was stupid. And we're just gonna go. So, bye. Good luck, Kai, bringing peace to these people. So long. And they leave.
I think you just spent a very long time restating what you could have just said, the Omega Glory, because that's what this episode is.
See, I thought it was very, very much like Taste of Armageddon.
See, didn't Omega Glory even have the thing where if you left the planet, you died, but if you stayed on the planet, you'd live forever? Wasn't that the plot? That's what Tracy wanted?
Wasn't that one of the movies? Wasn't that Insurrection?
Well, no, you could be killed on the planet.
You could be killed on the planet.
But you live for a long, very long time.
Forever if you don't get killed.
Okay, but is this also like Insurrection?
No. I mean, there's a mortality thing, but that's...
But there's no...
But it's also, linked to the planet.
Yeah.
Leaving will kill you.
But that also had the Yangs and the Cones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And one side even had big, stupid, puffy hats.
Yeah. So, yeah, basically they just zombie rose the script to the Omega Glory. And
I thought it was very Taste of Armageddon because it was, two people who've basically always been at war, even though their war is really, really stupid, and there's not a good way. These are the ones that use computers to kill each other.
Oh, right.
I mean, that was also the Omega Glory, too, because they had,
and
they just hadn't discovered the Constitution.
So,
Jesus Christ.
All right,
before
we give this its very deserved drubbing, I want to say one nice thing.
I actually have nice things to say about this.
Kaiopaka is great.
I love Kaiopaka.
Yeah, no, but that's part of the drubbing, but I'll get to that. I thought Kira's breakdown scene was acted fairly well.
Oh my god, when she died?
No, not that. That too. But when she's like, please don't think I'm horrible to the space pope.
Oh, with Kaiopaka.
Yeah, that was, I thought...
Even though she is pretty horrible.
Yeah, but it's because
when she was like, she saw her personal file or something that the Kardashians took, and they're like, she didn't do much. She didn't kill very many people.
Enough of us.
And Kira's like, I killed so many people!
That thing, I knew...
I'm so angry right now!
I saw that coming a mile off. It was like, she's gonna be upset that they're going to have,
underplayed her role.
Her importance.
Well, yeah, because they say she's minor.
Yeah, there's also there's future evidence to support this too that Gul Dukat may have had reasons for trying to shield her from shit.
We'll get to it. But, I thought that was acted well. Kaiopaka, the problem I have is Kaiopaka...
Get to it. I don't like when you say that.
Kaiopaka is great, but they kind of forgot she existed for most of the episode.
She was dead.
Well, but even when she was back,
to be fair.
My problem, the big failure of this episode is that it's at the end, I'm going to stay, because I have to, but it's even before she realizes she has to, she's like, I'm going to stay and help heal these people.
Mm-hmm. Well, because she had a vision, right?
Right, that's fine, but...
That's fine, that's the thing that's fine? That visions are real?
Well, okay. We've already seen some crazy shit.
That's true, she had an orb crystal or something.
She definitely has some kind of commune with the non-corporeal
But the
aliens.
issue is, they didn't have her do anything,
She wasn't James doing much?
Yeah, there wasn't even, a B plot where, one of the minor people with, there's no sign they have any interest in talking to her.
Yeah, I don't know.
She should have healed some blindness or some shit.
It seemed to me like they really just wanted an impetus for some stuff that happens later in the season, political Bajor stuff.
I don't know what happens later in the season.
They needed to get rid of the Kai so that they could have a plot involving...
I don't think that's why they did that at all.
Well,
but don't talk about it because I haven't seen it.
Because I looked into this, and originally they were just going to have some random red shirt go down there and get killed and be the one. Huh. And they were like, no, who's our most expendable character that people would actually give a shit about? Let's kill off Kaiopaka. That'll do. And they did that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even really remember that she'd showed up before, but when it came out that she had to stay, I was so bummed out. I was like, but I, loved her.
She's the one that gave Cisco his emissary status.
Yeah, and his orb.
I don't even remember.
But yeah,
I didn't even remember he was an emissary. When did that happen?
The first episode.
That's literally the first
Emissary.
episode.
Oh, that's
the whole impetus for the series?
That was a long time ago.
It was also a very long episode.
But yeah,
I slept through it. No, I didn't.
I just feel like, had they just shown her making any kind of connection with any of them?
No.
There's a novel, apparently, that shows the aftermath, and she's basically converted everyone to
Bajor.
love the prophets.
Well, what else they got going?
So,
Death.
Dying a lot.
Dying every day.
I will also say some positive things on this episode. Just, this isn't really a positive...
Is great.
It was only 44 minutes long.
No, so, okay, I'm happy this is like our first real full episode adventure
Road trip?
In the Gamma
Quadrant,
okay.
which like has been sort of like the promise of the series.
Yeah.
And we hear so much about the Gamma Quadrant, and like the most we've gotten is Odo blowing up some poor bastard in a nebula.
Right after he lost his brother, too. It's pretty sad.
And like, so having like an on-planet, meeting a new race of people. And I actually think that they're pretty interesting, these guys. And I'll say because, like, it's not just, the setup's a little janky, but like, there's something appealing about the characterization and that they had this war that had been going on for, as long as anyone can remember. And every time, the way it's written, every time they're like, we may have found a way that we can turn off the nanobots, and then you can just die naturally. And then instead of being like, yes, that would put an end to this war because we'd all just die off, and it would be great. It's yes, we can use this to fight the enemy. We can finally kill them.
Question. If they're okay with, oh good, maybe one day we'll die, that'd be great. Kind of like power play. Jesus Christ. Why don't they say, because if they leave the planet, they die. Why don't they just say, just bring us with you, and then we'll die in your spacecraft, and then who fucking cares
Well, the
anymore?
thing is,
they don't want to just die. They want to kill the other
right,
guys.
It's not about them dying.
And then
it's about,
die later.
It's about doing the murder.
Well,
It's about the other guys
Cisco
dying,
should
right?
kidnap them all. Kill everyone.
Because also the other thing too is if they
Seems pretty Jean-Luc of you.
yeah.
Jeez.
I was going for Spock.
Oh,
Because it also seems like if they left the planet, they would just die immediately. It wouldn't be like they would have a normal life. Their life functions are sustained by the nanites.
So they're just going to turn into like a dust pile, like the guy in whichever Indiana Jones film that is?
Yes.
Oh,
Crusade.
Last Crusade.
Got it. Perfect.
Yeah, so I don't know. I like
Nailed
that.
that.
So I kind of liked how Starfleet ideals and, we're going to heal the world and teach these people that, there's more to life than having this stupid war. And Cisco tries a couple times to do this, and in every time he's foiled by their just irrational hatred for each other.
Yeah, they are
I appreciated that. Like they were not interested in any way in any kind of peace.
Yeah, no, they were awful.
Well, maybe
people.
with Kaiopaka. And here's my question. I'm sorry if this will spoil. We never return to this planet to visit Kaiopaka ever again, do we?
No.
Yeah.
God damn it!
I think
she even says, "I'll be seeing you again."
I think there might
She
be
meant off screen.
Yeah, I think there's a hallucination vision quest thing with
Oh,
her,
not
but
another vision
her.
quest.
That's not the same as her.
well, we don't know. It could be.
She
could
said
be talking to
she
him
didn't
through the
say
prophets.
they'd meet. She said their paws would cross.
their paws.
No, I mean your dad and my dad are gonna hang out.
Ah.
Do your dad's voice.
Fired.
Jake,
Thank you.
Cisco.
Cisco.
No relation. So yeah, I liked
The end credits.
the chief had to invent something to back up his techno babble. That was kind of funny.
Gosh.
Where it was just like, how does that work? Oh, tell you once I fucking make it.
I like the you're looking for a needle in a haystack. What we need is a magnet.
Yeah, like a balloon, and something bad happens.
I mean, I don't know. The technobabble, what he said was like a differential magnonomer or something.
Yeah.
And it sounded like what it was doing, which
Yeah.
was finding the slight change in the magnetic field.
Yeah, no, but I just think it's funny because normally there's like techno babble, and it's like, yes, we just reroute the hoodly-doo. He's like, no, I actually have to invent this.
So the implication here is that these people have been exiled to this moon.
Yeah.
Well, it's sort of like a prison, didn't
Yeah,
they say?
it's a prison. Yeah, but it's like a permanent exile.
Yeah, surrounded by satellites.
The people from their home planet that put them here, real fucking sadistic motherfuckers.
Yeah, they sound like huge dicks.
That is really a special kind of fucked up.
It's very power play, like I said. That's what they did with their prison assholes.
I would have been interested to see if, like, yes, we found the remnants of a civilization on a neighboring planet, but it looks like that planet has been desolate for 100,000 years or something.
They would have deserved it.
You know, just like, oh, shit.
Oh, who's so civilized now?
Yeah,
assholes.
Did they ever say where their food came from? Or did
they probably just starve to death and come back to life?
Yeah. Or maybe they eat their own flesh and then die, and then does the flesh? I don't know. It doesn't come back. I imagine.
Maybe it's not fun. Maybe they've just died so many times that their whole bodies are just like a
scab.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's just, or it's just like it's not bio. It's just they're full on.
Well, there's also
nanites.
It's implied that there's a lot more people than we see, and just most of them are hiding somewhere. So they might have stores and supplies.
Maybe. But they've been there, we don't know how long, but presumably a very long time.
Oh, exceptionally.
See, when we get down there and they're like, oh yeah, here's some of our injured, and, it's like, oh, it's ironic that there's a doctor here, like, you're practically useless because we, die and it doesn't matter. So why do they have injured? Why don't they just kill the injured, let them come back to life uninjured?
I don't know, it seems like dying's
still not fun.
Yeah, and they still have some value in keeping themselves alive. I mean, if there's value in killing your enemy, then there must be value in keeping yourself alive.
I think it's maybe a case of where that's a thing you're going to cling to, even if it doesn't make sense, because otherwise you'd go mad.
Yeah, they really are just clinging on.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think this is a groundbreaking episode. Oh, another positive thing to say about it is I think this is like the first time I was like, oh, okay, they're improving Julian. Like
I loved when he did something and he's like, "Nice work, Julian."
Yeah.
To himself.
He fixed the computer.
Of course,
but like
he did.
he's still like cocky and annoying, but he's not
fucking creep.
Yeah, he wasn't trying to fuck anybody.
Well, that's because I'm sure Kira would cripple him, and I don't think Kai is his type.
Well, it's funny. I was actually thinking he was digging the Kai for half a second, to be honest.
No, I think that was just more like, oh wow, it's the Space Pope.
Yeah.
But there was at least one fairly young and pretty soldier lady he could have hit on, and he chose not to.
That we saw.
I only noticed her much because at the very end, when Kai is like, "Oh, I'm gonna stay here and help these people," the woman shoots her a glare, like, "What do you mean these people?
What do you mean,
bitch?
People, bitch?
Your funny nose and earrings and hat."
So we mentioned the leader there guy was Michael Banks. Jonathan Banks, yeah.
Who
plays...
For a second I thought you were going to say Michael Bay, and I was like, what?
Yeah, he plays Mike on Breaking Bad.
And Better Call Saul. Yeah. And he's basically kind of always this gruff, doesn't take shit kind of guy.
Yeah, I think he was also a cop in something, I remember. Like a movie, maybe. Was he a cop in Gremlins?
Gremlins?
Oh man, I've never seen Gremlins. I feel like I should fix that at some point.
No, you don't need to fix that.
Why?
Yeah, the first one's supposed to be decent.
I watched it a couple years ago, and I'm way too old for Gremlins.
He's an airplane? Who the fuck is he an airplane?
Oh yeah, he was an airplane.
Who was he?
He's just a character actor. Like he was.
Gunderson.
I want to say he was in the control tower.
Oh, was he one of?
Sounds like something he would do.
He's one of those people that he shows up. He's got a distinctive look.
Oh, he's that guy. Wow, he's just never had hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, so also the original concept...
Oh, yep, he is Deputy Brent in Gremlins. I apologize, go on.
Yeah, the original concept didn't have the Ennis and the Null Ennis. It was a human...
The Yangs and the Cones.
It was a human Cardassian battle.
And
they were like, yeah, we shouldn't make it the humans and Cardassians because then it's going to be way too easy for us to pick which side to side with.
Yeah, but they could. You know what they could have done though? They could have made it the Bajorans and the Cardassians, and they could have made it.
Yeah, but then Kira would just kill the Cardassians.
Yeah, but they could have made
5 times in a day.
They could have made the Kai side up with the
Cardis.
With the Cardis to try and bring peace, and then Kira could learn.
Kira won't.
That you don't have to kill
Kira
Cardis.
will never learn.
Like, you imagine that? Like, if Kira landed there, she's like, "Oh, you don't think I killed enough Cardis? Well, fuck you!"
Say hello to my little friend.
Yeah, I'm surprised they don't just have, like, a couple of their enemies just in their base that they just kill when they're feeling...
Just for fun?
When they're feeling upset.
Oh, no.
Oh, hey, fun fact. He also appeared in several episodes of T.J. Hooker. alongside
that was
Billy
Shatner,
Bill
right?
Shatner.
That's the Shat.
And a couple episodes of Sequest.
Well, that's a cop show. Did you just say you thought he was in a cop show?
He's actually been a cop a bunch of times.
Yeah, he comes off as a cop. He's got cop.
What's he got? Like
Delivery.
flat top? He's got like a...
No, he just
What's
got
that
this
called?
very...
Dude guy? Buzz cut?
No,
What's that
he's
called?
bald as...
No, but what's that called? That cop haircut. Is it called a
He
buzz
doesn't
cut?
have that. He's got bald head.
I know, but is that called a buzz cut?
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank
sure.
you. That's all I want to know.
He's got like this melty looking face.
Yes, he
That's
does.
the only way to describe his
Yeah,
face.
it's a little lopsided. His ears stick out.
His
He's
eyes
got a
kind of
bulbous
droop
nose.
down. Yeah.
I still
Jesus.
love him. He's still amazing.
He's a really good actor.
He's an episode of that their Expanse show you like.
Was The Expanse? I don't remember
I'm
this.
sure he was. I just don't
Oh,
remember.
he's Jim Gordon in Arkham Knight. Sorry. Anyway.
Which one was Arkham Knight?
The
That was one of
third
the movies, right? Or games.
Yeah, the third of the Arkham games.
And
Anyway.
honestly, okay, I'm gonna go back to Alpaca a little bit.
Yes.
So even though she seems to be right about this whole, my pa has to live on this planet or whatever the fuck she does get one thing very, very wrong, and that's when she's talking with Miles. She thinks Molly is Miles' kid. What an idiot!
I just like
Great.
the face Miles makes at the necklace. I just feel like his thought was, maybe I can trade this at Quark's for some liquor.
Do you know that there's a conspiracy theory that the whole the episode Disaster, in which Molly was born, the disaster was actually orchestrated by Worf so that he could be in 10-4 to deliver Molly, and that he could snap her neck if she looked like him.
That sounds right.
This is a conspiracy theory I assume you just made up.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good though.
I like it. What? So what's the deal with the necklace? Do we know? Like, what the fuck was going on with
It was
that?
just foreshadowing. Like, she clearly knew she wasn't coming back.
Yeah, but like, why give it to fucking O'Brien?
I don't know, because he was there. Big potato head.
There was
looked
no
sad.
one else there?
He always looks
I
like
think
that.
she knew
Yeah, that's
she
just
was,
his
she knew
face
she was
shit.
dying, and she's like, "Oh, you got a daughter."
Give it to her.
She knew she was dying, and she was like,
She's not dying. She's just doomed.
You seem like you have a horrible life. Your daughter's gonna have a horrible life.
Yeah, I was gonna say, your daughter seems like she's your kid and therefore is gonna have a horrible life.
Anyway, speaking of people who are dying, would you like to move on to the Storyteller?
Yes.
Sure.
All right.
That's
Storyteller. Oh, fucking hell. Okay.
Tell us
So
the story, Ames.
there's 2 or 10 plots happening in the Storyteller.
There are too many
And they're
plots.
all trash.
Let's start with the one I think is the main one, even though they're both kind of the same level of importance, I think.
Yeah.
But
well,
okay.
this one's titular, at least, right?
All right. So, Miles and Julian are on their way to Bajor to fix whatever illness thing is happening down there. And Miles doesn't like Julian and doesn't want to go, but he has to. He goes anyway because Cisco's like, "Fuck you, you're going."
Cisco's like, don't be a little bitch.
Basically, don't be like your wife.
We all
Ooh.
hate Julian. It's your turn to put up with him.
Basically, So
Wow.
they get down there, and we learn that the only man who's dying is the Syrah, who is the man who has to protect them from the Dalrock, which is a creature that comes once a year, 5 nights in a row after their harvest. And Julian's like, okay, that's weird. I mean, you're dying of old age, so there's nothing I can do. And everyone's like, fuck! But we need him to protect the village. So he goes out to protect the village in the night, even though Julian tells him not to. And as he's dying, he has O'Brien come and finish doing the chant story thing. And the Dalrock goes away, and everyone's like, yay! O'Brien is our new Syrah. And O'Brien's like, oh shit! I'm not prepared for this.
Jesus.
So he's trying to figure out how to do the thing, because, there's one more night of Dalrock coming, and the Syrah's apprentice, Hovath, tries to kill Miles, but then they become immediate friends, because they just do. And Hovath tells him the secret. The secret is that they have a piece of the orb in a bracelet that controls something or other, and the story is just all a ruse to get the people to, kind of unite and do the thing. But Hovath wasn't able to be the Syrah because he fucked it up one night. And they realized, the only reason we're having Miles do this is that so Hovath can come up, tell the story when Miles inevitably fucks it up, because of course he will. And everyone unite around Hovath, and everyone, he redeems himself, and everyone's all like, yeah, you really should be Syrah.
Of course,
and that's...
unfortunately for O'Brien, Julian realizes that in the midst of fucking him trying to get rid of the Balrog, or whatever the fuck it's called.
Dalrock.
That's what I said, Balrog.
Yeah, that thing. And that's what happens. Good job, O'Brien. And now he and Julian are slightly closer as friends for reasons.
But Julian's like, don't call me Julian. It's my favorite part.
It does sound
so
forced.
fucking weird.
I just think he's changed his mind. He's like, you know what, O'Brien? I don't want people to think you know me, so I'm going to need you to actually always call me sir.
You got made to look like a bitch by some smoke.
In the other plot that's happening,
Made to look like a bitch. I love
these
that.
two Bajoran factions, the Paku and the Nevolt, are having a land dispute that Cisco has to solve.
Oh, yeah.
But
I totally forgot this was a plot.
it's basically the Dauphin all over.
Yes,
That's what my notes
sure
said.
it is. Yep, it
so
sure is.
the Tetrarch of the Paku,
But she actually is
Verisur-
that cute, right? She's not actually a monster.
No, she's not a monster.
Okay.
She's quite cute.
Cool.
Is a 15-year-old girl that Nog and Jake are like,
Boing, oing, 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 oing.
Wow.
and they're like, oh man, she's so hot and she's having so much trouble with this land dispute. We should help her out. And they come to realize, oh, well, this land dispute thing, like, what if the other side has something that you want? It could be a fiscal opportunity, says Nog, who's into fiscal opportunities, being a Ferengi, don't you know? And she's like, yes, I'll do that. And also, you guys are cool. And she gives Nog a kiss on the cheek, and that's how it works. The end.
That seems right.
And also they throw oatmeal on Jake, which is hilarious.
That was kind of funny.
That was a good prank, yeah. Do they know who she is? I thought, because
The kids? I don't think they have any
Yeah, like, I
idea
think
who
Nog
she
just
really
sees her and is like, I've got a boner. And
They learn eventually who she is.
Right, but I think for a while, at least, they just think she's some Bajoran
some
woman,
cutie pie.
girl, kid thing.
And she is cute.
But she's stubborn as fuck.
Well, yeah.
I think she's actually probably a really shitty leader, and she's just putting on an act of like, what would my dad do?
Oh, she's
Well,
definitely,
that is definitely what she's
a
doing.
shitty leader.
He'd say no, so
Yeah,
no.
I mean, she's definitely just like struggling to like fulfill expectations.
In her defense,
Yeah.
she's fucking 15.
Oh yeah,
so...
I'm not
her-
criticizing. I'm just saying like she's in way over her head and she's doing the only thing like what anybody would do in that situation. I think.
So really the fact that a 15-year-old is the one in charge instead of anyone who's fucking qualified is their fucking problem.
I think the subtitle for this episode should be Bajor is a fucked up place. Like they are fucked up.
No one questioned, like, you know, because this is a place on Bajor, and I think Kira even says, oh, I know nothing about this place you're going to, or whatever, or I know nothing about these other people, you go figure it out.
And
then this giant cloud thing shows up that no one else on Bajor seems to know about? What?
So, yeah, well, so that's the thing. Like, what we learned from this episode is this one group is having sectarian violence. And let's not forget, the reason the original Syrah, which I cannot take seriously as a title, because I just think of, like...
It's a Shakespeare word.
Syrah.
Not even that, but I just think of, like, more the Shakespearean thing, where usually, you know, people nowadays use this sort of a joke, oh, Syrah, oh, like a fop thing.
They sure do.
But,
Never heard this before in my life.
But,
I just know it's in Shakespeare.
Yeah,
it's in
a lot.
Shakespeare all the fucking time.
But,
a lot.
like, the reason the first Syrah created the smoke monster was because the village was, like, always trying to kill itself.
Maybe it should have.
Is that really what they say?
Yeah, no, it was like the town was full of hate and division, so he created the thing so they would have to unify.
Yeah, it's like when what's-his-name brings that stupid fucking squid monster to New York in The Watchmen.
So why,
Yes.
So like,
Ozymandias.
Yes.
yeah, but like, why couldn't they just turn it off?
Well,
I
because
think
then
they
they
don't
would have
know
just
how.
gone back to fighting again. Probably. Like, honestly.
It kind of became a tradition. The annual yelling at
I
the
think that's an
cloud.
excuse. I think it's
Old
like
man yells at cloud!
Well, the first one doesn't tie into that
I
at all.
don't care. It's
Who
perfect.
old man
cares?
yells at cloud.
Please, I finally made a Simpsons reference.
Can we make a Star Trek shitpost of
that,
the
and it says
Syrah,
old man yells.
at
Yes,
cloud?
let's do it. Before we leave tonight, you probably could make it happen
Yeah,
in like
I'll
3
do it.
seconds.
I'll do it.
Jake, the one who isn't on Star Trek ship.
I'll make the graphic and I'll send it to one of you.
Send it to me. I should get to say it.
Okay.
Please. That's what I mean. What I mean is please.
But yeah, no, like they've forgotten how to turn it off, and it's just Bajorans just seem to love killing themselves, each other.
Maybe Cardassia had a good idea.
I think like it's
Like, I don't want to say I supported the occupation because it was a
No,
fucking
I mean,
nightmare
they
show of
definitely-
Nazis, but they are going to destroy themselves.
they're damaged people.
If
Like, there's some like serious collective.
But how much of this
damage.
existed before the Cardassian occupation?
All of it.
We don't know, man.
Because this Syrah thing goes back centuries.
Mm.
The treaty that divided up the two factions with the river was 90 years ago, 30 years before the occupation began.
But it was the Cardassians who moved the river.
Right, but I mean, they had to have this treaty in the first place because they were murdering each other for God knows how long
Well,
before
not
90 years
necessarily,
ago.
right? I mean, it might just be like a land agreement. I mean, everybody eventually, the Mississippi became the border for everything.
But, like,
not
So
because
we
everybody
will-
was killing each other necessarily, but because they had to...
So we really shouldn't have Bajor in the Federation.
God, no.
They not until they can run their own ship. But like, here's the thing, right? Like, okay, the land dispute.
Mhm.
Obviously, when they drew up the border, the intention wasn't that if the river is moved by intervention, that doesn't count.
Yeah,
It should obviously be the borders of the river at the time that the treaty was signed.
Yeah, I mean, obviously. Like literally obviously.
Yeah,
like,
and this girl is just being a little bitch.
She's a dumb shit. She
She
doesn't
is
know
a little
shit.
bitch. She's 15.
Her dad would probably be like, "Oh yeah, you're right.
That makes
the river was
perfect
moved,
sense.
so okay, that's fine."
Could they move the river back?
I imagine.
Excuse me.
Well, I'm sure, people probably put, houses and shit there. Who knows?
But when did it happen? Like just now? Or like a long time
Sometime
ago?
during the occupation.
Oh.
What I will say is I actually do really like the solution that they have and how Nog actually is very helpful. I thought that was very sweet. Was, what if your problem is actually an opportunity in disguise to come up with another way to look at this and benefit yourself, because, Ferengi, but also, like, not be a shithead like you're being right now.
But yeah, it isn't very Ferengi. It isn't a very Ferengi solution because everybody wins. I feel like the Ferengi solution would be like, there'd be some secret way to exploit this.
But it was, though. The way to exploit it was, so the way that they decide the river thing is, okay, you can have the land that was originally yours, but we get all the fucking fish from the river now.
Yeah, exactly. She gave them back something that was already theirs. That's
Yeah. That's the other thing with this episode too, is like, I know
very Ferengi.
we were kind of making fun of Julian in the first one, being like, yes, I'm gonna bring civilization here. It's like, we've been here for millennia. But like, what we see is two groups of people fighting over some shitty land and like desperately need access to a river.
Whoa.
Like it's 1850, and some fucking horrible little village. Like, I'm sure Bajor actually has cities and civilization, but we haven't seen it yet.
And Hovath, this apprentice, he's going to be in charge now. And the first thing he did when O'Brien became the acting Nagus, Syrah, because he's been fucking Nagus all over again, was try to kill him, just like happened in the Nagus with fucking Ron.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Cracks.
It literally is just the Nagus, and it's 2 weeks later. That is
It is very Nagus.
that is so fucking lazy.
Well,
3
except-
weeks.
At least wait another week.
The main difference here, though, is that O'Brien is in no way happy.
Julian fucking loves it.
Oh, yeah, no, he loves how confused and uncomfortable O'Brien
Yeah,
is.
Julian is having a great time.
So how did O'Brien and Bashir end up bonding over this? Because it sounds like this is something that's so stressful that O'Brien should be more angry at Bashir.
I don't know. We'll find out in future,
Well, like I
guess.
said, I don't think they did bond. I think Julian was like, I don't want people to fucking think you know me, so keep my fucking name out of your mouth.
Actually, I don't think the first Syrah created the Balrog in order to bring unity to the village. I think he created the Balrog to get pussy.
I was gonna say to get chicks. I was just gonna say that.
Because literally, if you're the Syrah, they just bring
That's
you
true.
women.
That's true. They just brought some.
They're just
was
bringing women?
Was that old man still getting women
God, I
every
hope
day?
not.
Sure he was.
Is this another Wallace Shawn incident? Fucking Wallace.
I don't think he fucked any animals.
That had
His
Julian
defense.
excited.
Yeah.
Like, if this was earlier in the season, he probably would have had a line where was like, well, I could have had one of them stay for me.
Oh, no!
Yeah, it's written in the prophecy.
It is a little interesting how long it takes O'Brien to go, I'm married.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
He's like,
That's because he's so often trying to forget Keiko.
Yeah.
Ouch.
He just remembered the chastity belt he was wearing. It's like,
Oh no.
Yeah.
And
This was a story pitch that had been floating around since season 1 of TNG.
I thought you were gonna say TOS.
I mean, this feels like season 1 of TNG. Like,
It does.
It
like-
feels like season 2 of TOS too,
Like
though. It does
I
feel
would
TOS-y.
the thing that irritates me most about it is that although that we say okay the Balrog was created by the Syrah, it's just like it still seems very supernatural, and we never get an explanation,
Yeah.
and we never get like I feel like if
It
this were
actually
Star
injured
Trek,
some people.
if this were Star Trek, if this were Star Trek, they would have found the power source or whatever, and then
shot it or talked it.
There would have been like the devil's due situation where they'd be like, no, you see, it's not a cloud monster, it's just some bullshit that some old man cooked up.
We're gonna keep tricking this tribe for more generations.
It somehow reminds me of like Cry of the World is Hollow, and I've not done the sky.
Except in this case, it actually is. Evidently is supernatural. Even if it was created by the Sarad, they weren't able to find any power source.
Alien technology so advanced it is indistinguishable.
So there's part of the orb in the thing. That's it. So maybe it's like maybe the first Sarad didn't create it. Maybe what he did is he stole part of the orb, and the fucking prophets were like, "Fuck you, asshole! I'm gonna attack your village until you give it back."
Shit.
But the goodwill of all the people makes it go away.
Yeah, that's a bit fucking Christmas special there.
Yeah, it's
and
like
the effects weren't great.
The meta of it, the meta-ness of it drove me crazy because it's like it's the power of a story. It can do anything. I'm like, oh, fucking wank yourself off, episode.
I will say for early 90s,
don't worry,
like Julian,
TV special effects, the cloud itself didn't look too bad. Once it started shooting, it looked bad.
Yeah, the cloud was fine.
The actual cloud effect, when it was just...
and like the sparkles that came off the crowd.
Yeah, that was fucking abysmal.
Every episode that I've been reading about for the past, I swear, 5 episodes, each one has said, this is one of the costliest DS9 episodes to produce this season. This is one of the costliest to produce this season. I feel like it's been every episode for the last several weeks.
It wasn't money well spent this time.
Like they're spending all this money on special effects, or they're spending all this money on sets and costumes and makeup and stuff. And it's like, you guys don't know what to do with money, do you? Ask Quark, he's better at it than you are.
Well, they had to build this whole little village.
Yeah. So this, I will say, is not really very good of an episode, but it is funny watching O'Brien be flustered.
That's just watching O'Brien.
And I did enjoy that when he had to guess, like, once upon a time.
Oh yeah, that
like
was
you jackass.
His telling of the story was actually kind of endearing.
I didn't think Hovath had that much more charisma than O'Brien though.
No, but he knew the words.
Yeah,
better.
he knew the words. Yeah, it was like, watching O'Brien stumble through the story was funny. I enjoyed that.
It really was like the kid who was supposed to have memorized a poem to recite.
Yeah.
And he half-assed it the night before, and now he's in front of everyone.
That's me at CCD.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was.
Our Father, farting heaven.
Yep. I wrote down at the end of my notes, too easy. Just the way that it all tied up so dumbly.
And then the B plot, same kind of thing. Like, she just, I got a great idea from Nog.
Everyone can be.
We don't even see the negotiation. It's just like, nope, it's gonna work.
If nothing else, we saw the bucket.
We did see the bucket.
It was a nice bucket.
It was full of oatmeal, and I loved Jake's reaction.
Odo!
He thinks he's covered in Odo. Did he think he killed Odo?
I think so.
Oh God,
poor Jake.
That's so upsetting.
That was actually pretty great. That was a fun little scheme. I enjoyed that.
I mean, but what was so Jake and the girl must have thought that they were pranking sleeping Odo. Right?
Well, they thought Odo was awake. They were just going to steal his bucket.
Right.
But in reality, Nog was...
But that's a really
cruel... They would have given it back.
That's a cruel prank.
It is.
See, what I would have done is I would have replicated a duplicate bucket with a hole in the bottom. So when he went into it, he just melt out the bottom.
That's funny. And then there's a whole scene afterward where it's so much of Cisco and Odo looking meaningfully at each other about how fucked up this is, whilst touching oatmeal-covered children.
Oh, actually, I have a great prank for Odo involving the bucket. Every day, you sneak into his office and you replace his bucket with a slightly smaller one.
He'll think he's getting so fast.
I know, and he'll just get really self-conscious.
Looks like I gotta lose some pounds.
And eventually, it's just like a little tiny bucket.
Jake,
it's like a thimble.
Is that what you've been doing with my pants?
Oh.
And it's great, too, because replicators are so precise. Like, if you really had patience, you could have it shrink so gradually. Like, you could spend years and just get a millimeter smaller every time.
You would have to make the physical bucket smaller. You have to make the volume inside smaller. You just, bring the bottom up a little every day, And so from the outside, it would look the same.
That's fucking
Make
amazing.
the walls thicker.
Yeah. Well, if I ever find a shapeshifter, I know what I'm doing. But that's about the best thing we came out of this episode.
Yep.
The oatmeal gag.
So I guess that means he doesn't have quarters. Like, his office is his quarters.
Yeah, I think there's a point later in the show where he does get his own quarters because he's like, oh, I'm gonna
Everybody
explore
else
and
has some place to live.
myself. I need a place to jerk off. It's weird when I'm doing it in front of the prisoners.
Don't we learn that the Odo has like issues with women or something, or doesn't like want to be in a relationship?
I don't know, he's probably awkward as fuck.
Yeah.
No, I was
there's some good
rewatching-
women
Well, he's
stuff on
probably
Odo.
never sure how big to make it, right? Like one time he just made
No.
it fucking enormous and the woman ran off screaming.
No, I was rewatching
I thought
one
this
of
was
the
desirable.
one of the early ones where he's talking with Quark, and he's like, I've never, and Quark's like, really?
Oh, yeah.
And Odo's like, ugh, it's all about compromises. You want to watch football, she wants to watch the soap operas, so you end up watching the soap operas.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was only episode 1 or 2.
Yeah, that was early. But yeah, Odo doesn't seem to be interested in that kind of shit.
Well, he's a shapeshifter. He's got different interests. Until he meets Loxana Troy.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Boing, yoing,
Sexy
yoing, yoing,
beast.
yoing.
Wait, really?
You'll see.
Here's another note. This is some crazy magic bullshit. Please get back to the murdering.
Wow, how very Ames of you.
We're gonna see Hobarth again.
Hovarth?
Hobarth, whatever his fucking name is.
Really?
He
Why?
shows up in Enterprise.
Oh.
As the same character?
Oh, no, yeah, no,
Oh.
sorry, we see the actor
okay,
again.
okay. I was gonna say, Enterprise is beforehand, too.
He's a real asshole from what I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this story was based on a Kipling story. I started to read, but it was very boring.
And
so
racist.
So
Yeah, no shit, right?
So I found a radio play of it instead because
cool.
I didn't want to find the movie. It's a story called "The Man Who Would Be King," which was also the basis for the Road to El Dorado, which I also didn't end up watching, but I've seen before.
The Road to El Dorado is so great.
It's fun. It's super fun.
I fucking love that movie.
Yeah, but the idea...
You remember Road to El Dorado?
Yeah, the idea of The Man Who Would Be King is these two guys go off to like a fake kingdom that would be like in the general Middle East area because they say, we're going to go there and we're going to become kings. And the narrator's like, all right, good fucking luck with that. 2 years later, one of them comes back, a crippled, broken man.
Oh, no.
And he tells the story of what happened. And what happened was they passed themselves off as gods. And until one of them, the stupider one, decided, I'm going to get married to this broad, even though she doesn't seem into it. And she got freaked out and bit him or cut him somehow and so that he bled. And they're like, oh no, gods don't bleed.
That's what happens in the Road to El Dorado,
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
not the weird wedding thing, but the gods don't bleed thing.
Yeah.
There's a Voyager episode that's of similar people pretending to be gods.
Pretty sure some gods could bleed.
Yeah.
Because it seems, I've seen that referenced in other things too. It's like, really?
I mean, I don't mean to be contradictory here, but I'm pretty sure gods don't exist.
Yeah, no, certainly, I mean, I'd imagine in, like, Greco-Roman mythology, gods could probably bleed.
Yeah, but their
Oh,
blood,
yeah.
filled seas and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you what they definitely could do is jizz all over everything. They love doing that.
Especially Zeus.
Yep. And then the jizz comes to life as a pretty lady.
Yeah, but there was that one dude who, tried to come in Athena and accidentally jizzed on the ground and made, like, a civilization or something. I don't remember who it was.
I've never heard that one.
I'm gonna look it up.
I believe you. You're the classicist. I just...
Well, let's not get carried away.
Yeah, sounds cool. There's the River story. There's a George R.R. Martin short story that reminded me of.
Yeah?
Yeah, a little bit, I guess. Not really. I'm just burning time.
Yeah, tell us more. We can stretch this a couple more
There's
minutes.
a little, there's this like castle, and there's this knight that's sort of like, took up work at the castle, and it's this old man who's kind of lost it, and he talks about how up the river there's this bitch that's always trying to steal my land and shit, and it used to be, and she lives in a castle that used to belong to my family, but she's such a bitch, and her whole family, because my ancestors supported so and so in some war, they gave they gave my castle to her, and I get left with this shitty castle. And the knight's like,
You should have a castle, dude.
So then, and then and by the way, that bitch up the river, she's had, 5 husbands, and they've all died. She's a fucking Black Widow. and she's such a fucking bitch. So the knight's hanging out one day, and he notices, the river's run dry. That's weird. And he goes, he goes upriver to try and figure out what's going on. And he gets to a point in the river where like the water's been diverted. So he goes back to the knight, the old guy. He's like, hey, I think the lady up the river diverted it. So he goes upriver and talking to her. He goes to their castle, and she's like, yeah, I diverted the fucking river because I need it, and that guy's a shithead. Mm-hmm. And then there's this whole dispute, and they're gonna have a little war and stuff. And the knight's like, he gets all geared up, and like the old guy, he's got some peasants that work his land, but they're like fucking idiots, and they don't know how to do anything, and they're trying to train these guys, and like the knight's like here's how you hold the sword, and like one of them like runs away because he's afraid to hold the sword, and
accidentally runs himself through.
And he's got like so he's got like 20 people, and they're fucking dumb shits, and they're not gonna know how to fight. And the old man comes out all in his armor, and he's like, all right, let's go fight the bitch. And they go to fight, and naturally her people show up, and they're like a bunch of fucking knights and shit, and fighting men, and the knight's like, oh fuck. So it's like, he's like, hey, biggest knight, let's just single combat this. Let's just do that. So our knight and the biggest knight from the lady decide to have a single combat. He gets smashed severely, and then he wakes up, and he's in the like the doctor at the castle of the girl. The
big castle?
The nice castle. And and she's beautiful, by the way. He had a real boner for her.
It's a George R. R. Martin.
Yeah,
the knight had a real boner for her.
It's George R. R. Martin. The casual misogyny and beauty are to be expected.
Well, we got more, because the doctor is explaining. He's like, oh yeah, you almost got killed, but you stabbed the other guy, and he died. He ended up dying, but you didn't.
That guy.
But you didn't die, so we dragged you back here, and the old man and the girl got to talking. Well, they're married now, so yeah, all's well.
Isn't she a Black Widow?
It turns out that she wasn't really killing her husbands. They just happened to be dying.
I mean, it's the Middle Ages.
She's like a young, sexy thing, and he's an old fart. So now they're married.
He's probably gonna have a heart attack while they're boning.
Yeah.
People try to accuse her of murder again.
Yeah.
Couldn't find anything about that dude. Now I'm worried I made it up. So I messaged Liz to see if she can give me any info about it.
It sounds familiar. Was it Athena or Artemis?
I think it's Athena.
Artemis.
But so she says no, that's definitely a myth. Who was it? I feel like it was Telemachus or something.
No, Telemachus was the one who
Isn't that Odysseus' son?
No, he's the one that calls you all through the day trying to sell you shit.
I think
every fucking day.
That's Telemarketus. It sounds very similar.
Wait, yeah, I think you're. Yeah, no, I think I was thinking that. Who am I thinking of? Tiresias?
Who did you say you thought it was?
Tiresias is the old man has been both genders.
Okay, I was thinking of Tiresias.
Yeah, he was a seer and he was blind. Did you already say that?
I forget.
That was part of it.
I forget.
A seer that was blind? That's an oxymoron.
It was Erichthonius.
Okay.
Says Liz.
That is the riveting, live occurring classical mythology discussion you're all here for.
Because these episodes are dull.
And the boring recap of a
George R. R.
Martin story.
Any other Star Trek thoughts before we wrap
Let's
this
see.
one?
We could read another Wallace Shawn play.
Ooh.
No.
No, we really went to town on this one, boys and girls.
This episode was bad.
Yeah, this was not a high point for the show.
Last episode was a bunch of different episodes. This week was the Dauphin plus
Omega Glory.
No, Omega Glory was last week too. Not last week. First episode.
Yeah.
With Kaio Paka. This is like the Dauphin plus Julian and Miles' wacky adventure weekend.
No, we already said it's like the Nagus again.
Yeah,
it's really
aspects of the Nagus.
Yeah,
but
it's very silly.
Also, it's just racist.
Is it racist?
It's like, oh yeah, of course the Irishman has to be the new storyteller. Gift to Gab. I see what you did. I'm stretching.
Please
I've never even heard that.
I'm stretching because this was just so
You can cut that.
silly.
You can cut that. He's the one that does the editing.
Yeah, cut your own shitty joke.
I mean, I've done it before. I have definitely had jokes that didn't land, and I've been like, you know what,
We can always do a short. We don't have to be long.
No, I know.
The Rossi clock says we've got 5 more minutes.
Can I just jake us out now, or what?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think our audience would appreciate us just.
They fucking stopped listening as soon as they heard what episodes we were talking about. Let's be real. Okay. Thanks for joining us for this riveting fucking episode. Next week, we're going to do another episode, which will hopefully actually be a little more riveting.
Well, it's up to Deep Space Nine, isn't it?
We're going to talk about progress and if wishes were horses. So, none of us would be hungry. I don't really know. If you like what you heard and
Eat horses? Jesus.
I don't know, like if wishes were fishes, something.
If wishes were horses, beggars would ride.
Well, if you wish in one hand and shit in the other.
I mean, there is
something about horses.
Horse meat.
Which hand do you think will be full first? What the fuck have you done?
Jake is wearing his placemat.
There is,
horse meat?
human consumption grade horse meat out there.
Yeah.
It was
some of it was in Swedish meatballs at IKEA's.
Yes, it just wasn't being properly labeled. Yeah, no, it's in the U.S. food supply again, too. It was made legal again sometime during the Obama administration.
Thanks, Obama.
I don't know, whatever, who cares? Those fucking meatballs are great. I don't give a shit about horse meat. You know what, that's the nice thing. I was never like a big, some people are really nutso about horses.
Fucking horses, man. People are weird.
I don't have a problem with it. It's just...
Centaurs are weird.
That's true. Just checking. They, what's the bad woman's name in Harry Potter?
Oh,
Hermione.
No.
Margaret Thatcher. What's her actual name?
Yeah, but,
fuck. Dolores Umbridge.
Yeah, she was raped to death by centaurs, right?
Not to death.
But to the brink of something, right?
Her name is Umbridge?
That's the...
Yes.
Yeah, that is.
It's a George Lucas level name.
Or Charles Dickens, let's be fair.
There was a Harry Potter character that was raped by centaurs?
Or, they don't, show it, but
it's not
showing supposed to be heavily implied.
Malva,
children's books.
Malva.
Somebody's...
So what it is, hold on.
Him.
So, what it is, it's not stated directly, but she is dragged off into the woods by...
I can't remember her first name.
Malva? She is dragged off into the woods by the centaurs, and apparently, in a lot of classical mythology... Centaurs are very rape happy.
Everything was.
But it's horse dick, right? Because that's where the dick would be.
Yeah, so
that's big.
I was gonna say, what's your point? Like that would be more pleasant? I don't
know.
understand.
I think it'll be less
pleasant.
I think it'll be that would be worse,
well,
right?
Yeah, I know.
This is turned awful.
This has been a special. Classical mythology heavy, a star to steer her by.
I actually have an update. It was Hephaestus who tried to rape Athena. She wiped off the semen, and then that was how Erecthonius was born.
If you like what you heard, you can find us on SoundCloud as a star to steer her by.
Usurping Caitlin's job.
I'm ending this one. We are on SoundCloud. You can find us on Facebook as a star to steer her by. We are on Twitter and Tumblr as SSHB Podcast. You can find our website, sshbpodcast.com. We promise to try harder next week. We apologize.
No, we don't.
If this is your
DS9
First of all, no,
there we
don't.
go. Find us, like I said, we're on SoundCloud and we feed into Apple and all this. Wherever you found us this week, we'll still be there next week probably. Thank you very much for listening. This has been Chris.
This has been Aang.
This has been Caitlin.
This is Jake.
Nice work, Julian.
There we go. It's a shame he was never a Ferengi.
Jason Alexander?
Yeah, he'd make a great Ferengi.
It's true.
Short, big ears on him.
Weird guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Try to make it sound like you're not just saying that because he's Jewish.
Wait, he is?
I assume so. Is he not?
I mean, I know George isn't, so...
Oh, never mind.
It never really...
Yeah, but Jerry Stiller plays George's dad.
That
too,
is
and
true.
He's based off of Larry David as a person, and Larry David is Jewish.
Yeah.
That is true.
Your last name is Black?
Yeah.
I feel like if my last name was Jew... It was one of the fucking best lines.
It's just such an awkward thing, because they don't get it, and he has to explain it.
And they're like, yeah, it is, and probably because...
Oh.
I mean, I have to imagine there's no good reason for that being their last name.
Jason Alexander is a screen name. Stage name, rather.
What's his real name?
J. Scott Greenspan.
That sounds more Jewish.
Yes, it does.
Oh, does it? I was thinking it sounded less Jewish.
Greenspan?
So is that a Jewish name?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know.
Alexander was born in Newark, New Jersey, the son of Jewish parents Ruth Minnie and Alexander B. Greenspan. You know, here I thought I'd found a good, short, non-Jewish actor to break up the
Represent
stereotype.
the Fragonar.
And nope, turns out he changed his name, the bastard.
Huh. Anyway, let's do the silence.
Remember Britney Spears was briefly married to a man named Jason Alexander?
Oh yeah, and everyone was right confused.
That's great.
Yes, that's right.
True, he could do better.